Now then, since his nephew Finlay was diagnosed with a rare and extremely aggressive form of leukemia back in 2019, the comedian, pub landlord Al Murray, has been on a mission. He's really trying to get more and more people to sign up to the blood stem cell donor register.
Al says that Finlay has had not one but 3 transplants. But with just 2 months left of 2021, new donor sign-ups are only 40% of last year's figure. So, Al, we want everybody to get on the donor register. It's very nice to see you, and it's lovely to see that photograph of Finlay. He was 6 when he was diagnosed, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Absolutely heartbreaking news for any parent, and you, obviously, as his uncle, wanted to do everything you could to help. How is Finlay doing now after 3 successful transplants?
Well, he's still hanging in there, is the truth. These blood stem cell transplants, which have come from all over the world, so from America and Holland, and have brought him and his family time and time to fight the illness. So no two ways about it. A blood stem cell donation is a thing that can potentially save someone's life. So, you know, he's hanging on in there. He's not out of the woods, though, is the way I'd put it.
All right, can you give us a layman's guide, then, to exactly what a stem cell donation is? I mean, we all know what a blood donation is. How does a stem cell donation differ? What do we do that's different?
Well, it's totally different. A blood stem cell donation relies on a thing called a tissue type, which is kind of like a genetic fingerprint. So what DKMS do is they send you a set of swabs. You swab the inside of your mouth. I mean, we're all used to swabbing and sticking things up our nose now. So when I first started talking about this 2 years ago, it seemed peculiar and out there as a thing to ask people to do. But we're all so used to it now. You swab your mouth, you leave the swabs to dry for 5 minutes, then you pop them in an envelope, you send them off, and they process them at DKMS. They look at them, and you go into their database. So one day you may get the phone call that you're a tissue type match for someone else. So it's not like a blood group. It's not like donating blood. And then what they do, 9 out of 10 times, is they sort of hook you up to a thing like a dialysis machine where they take your blood out, they harvest the blood stem cells, and they put the blood back into you that you don't need. Wow. And that's it. Job done. And then those stem cells are transplanted into someone who needs them. It's as simple as that. And what the stem cells do is they figure out what your genetic code is and tune into it, or the patient's, and tune into it, and hopefully reboot their blood system. I mean, that's super layman, though.
No, but that's
I'm not going to pass a medical degree with that.
That's a brilliant explanation. I just have a couple of other follow-up questions for you.
Yeah. Of course.
Because as a family member, I would be prepared to do whatever it took for a member of my family. But is this painful? Is it timely? Is it costly in terms of health for the person donating? Because, you know, we want to get as many people on the register as possible, but you need to, you know, people need to know that there aren't... So I mean, it's going to be horrible for them.
In short, no, not really. I mean, certainly the swabbing testing is I mean, it's less disgusting to do than the COVID test where you have to tickle your tonsils with a cotton bud, right? So the actual dialysis process, it's not dialysis, but it's sort of an equivalent. It's a needle in one arm, a needle in the other. You're there for an hour with a squeeze ball to keep your circulation going, but that's about it.
Right.
So if people don't like needles, I understand that. But the thing you're able to do is as we have seen, you know, with these 3 transplants, is give someone time to hopefully recover and overcome the cancer.
So you know, when you leave the clinic, having been lashed up there for an hour or so, you know that you'll never know the person or the child, but you know that you've just actually bought somebody critical time. Yeah. You've just done that. You've just saved a life.
Precisely it, Richard. That's what's so brilliant about this. I mean, the thing is when I first heard about Finlay's condition, you think, well, maybe it's his brother or it's his uncle, because you read about that very often, you know, that bone marrow, and it's a similar technique to people sharing their bone marrow. But this is the idea with this is that you're not relying on your family member, because if your family member doesn't come up as a match, then you're in real trouble. And the truth is the more people, I always think this is it's like buying a lottery ticket, but someone else wins.
I love that.
Nice analogy, yeah.
Yeah.
And that really is how this works. And the thing is this is a huge, DKMS is a huge thing in Germany. So, it's no coincidence that one of the donors came from Germany, and who Finley called Herman the German. You know, I've got Herman the German transplanted into me now, and we're going to go from here. And then there's been Hank the Yank as well, because there's an American register of people. And just the more people that you get on, the more numbers, basically everyone's chance of being able to delete the blood cancer goes up.
And if on the day you get the call to say, right, can you come in and donate, you're actually on a plane or something, or you're at a wedding or something like that, that's fine. You can do it another day. Oh
yes. I mean, it's not like someone's a blood donation. You're the only match, and they've run out of blood that day. It's not as sort of urgent as that. I've been to see people, one or two people, when they saw I was involved in this campaign, got in touch and said, come down and hang out with me while I do my donation. So I went down and bought them a Kit Kat and said thanks very much, because the chance you're possibly giving someone here, and I think with my meager level of celebrity, this is a much better use of it than getting tables in nice restaurants. This is a sort of.
So talk to me, Al. Okay, I want to sign up on this. What do I do now? Let's say I'm sitting at home watching this. What do I do? Who do I Google? How do I get?
You go to www.dkms.org.uk. So DKMS is the thing you put into Google, and it'll come up. And then you go into the registration process, and it'll tell you if you're suitable or not, because some people aren't, inevitably. But that's all about protecting the possible recipient. It's not telling you you're too old or you're whatever. It's to protect the recipient, because in the end, that's who we're trying to help here.
Well, we just flashed the website up on screen.
Yes,
we put it up one more time,
yeah.
please. Just one more time, in case somebody's fumbling for a pen or mobile. There we are.
Well, we'll put it on our website.
And we'll put it on our website.
Al, you have another role, I can imagine, in Finley's life. You're the funny uncle, aren't you? I mean, so
well, some of the time.
So, I mean, you must then keep his spirits up. I mean, we see the pictures of you with him, but also when he's in hospital, I can imagine it's pretty gruelling experience for a child.
Well, it was very hard for the whole family during the lockdown, because you weren't allowed to go and see him, because he's so immunocompromised. Yeah. I mean, this is the thing. Is people who've been immunocompromised during the pandemic have had it really super tough, because they're isolated to an extent anyway, but this was like 10 times over. I mean, one of those photos, we had a wonderful time. We went to the Tank Museum in Bovingdon, and they showed him round and gave him a wonderful afternoon of looking at the stuff. And the thing about this encounter is you with cancer is you hope it never happens to you. You hope it never happens to your family, but it has. And it's the kindness of strangers, the generosity of people who don't know you and aren't involved, who show their love and compassion for your family, that is incredibly moving. And also is the reason the world's a good place, actually, in the end.
What
you make a powerful case, Al. You make a very powerful case.
Absolutely. My God, if that happened to my child, I just.
And sign up, Susanna, so if it does, you...
Yeah, absolutely, I will. Do you know what, Al? I will. Because as you say, the thought that somebody else was going to make that sacrifice for, of time and effort and all the rest of it for a stranger turned out to be my child is the most incredibly moving thing.
Well, this is how we feel about it. Some good can come of Finley's illness and the hard time his family's gone through. If some good can come of it, then
I'm on board as well, Al. I promise you, and I'm not just saying this, promise you later on when I get back home, I'll go onto that site and I'll register. It's easy, isn't it?
Thank you very much.
Piece of cake.
Al, our love to Finley and his parents and the whole family. And it's always
back at you. Thanks very much.
It's always lovely to see you. I think the last time I saw you, Al, was in a darkened room with a pint in our hands.
That's quite right.
We'll just leave that thought there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's a memory I cherish.
You'll always have Paris.
I think it was South London.
We'll always have Clapham.
Great to see you. I'd just like to point out, my pint was sparkling water. Let's take a look at the weather with Laura.